Hello everyone, my name is Loko and welcome to some more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. Today I'm gonna be showing you a game that I played, I believe somewhere last week, and this is a pretty silly game, I'm not gonna lie. This is a game I played versus a guy named Shepard, and this was actually played on the live stream, and I decided to take on the challenge, well, to do the most ridiculous thing ever, to make Zergling Spine Crawler only in Zerg vs Zerg. And I know what you're thinking, like, Loko, why are you doing all these stupid strategies? Why can't you just play a straight up macro game? Well, honestly, like, it's just, like, it's one of these things that has a lot of potential, okay? My thought behind this idea is that, let's say you play Zergling, Baneling versus Zergling, right? You would say that the Baneling player will always win in every single situation, but if the opponent that actually plays these, or if the player that only plays Zergling actually micros really well, he will actually have an advantage simply for the fact that Banelings are kind of expensive, and in the end, if you micro really well, they are not cost efficient versus Zerglings, and most of the time, that is only like hypothetically speaking true because, well, you make usually a misplay and you sort of mess up that way. But my idea behind it is that, you know, if I can make it work, it might as well be one of the better strategies to go for. And I already know for a fact that if my opponent goes for Mutalisk, I know this from like playing a ton of Zerg vs Zerg in the past, if my opponent goes for Zerg or for Mutalisk and I go for upgraded Zerglings, I know for a fact, 100% certain, that my opponent will be overrun by Zerglings, okay? And that's kind of funny because usually people are like, okay, Mutalisk versus Zerglings, Mutalisk can shoot down, Zerglings can't shoot up, so the Mutalisk win, right? Well, most of the time, by the time you can make like a gazillion Zerglings, let's say you make like 100 Zerglings or something like that, there will only be like 5 or so Mutalisk out, and it's just not gonna be enough to stop it. So most of the time, that is the strength behind the idea. It is not completely based off of nonsense, but I'll be honest, sometimes like the stream chat challenges me to something silly, and I'm like, alright, I'll give that a try. So in this game, I'm gonna go mainly Zerglings and a couple of Spine Crawlers as well to be able to defend it. I am obviously gonna go for the upgrades, and later on in the game, I'm not completely sure if I decide to transition towards a Hive in the late game. I'm not completely sure about that, but either way, I will not get any Muta or any Ultralisk in the game out, and we're gonna have a look at how this all went down. So I'm gonna go for a pretty early Zergling speed right now, as you can see. Did get the gas guys are at a pretty normal timing actually. It's nothing too fast. Went for the spawning pool into a hatchery, just your solid, straight up overall build order. And as you can see on the production tab, we are pretty much even. A couple of minor little differences, but nothing too massive at all. Gonna be saturating this gas geyser as soon as I realized that I didn't. There we go. Gonna be putting 3 drones in there right away. And I'm gonna send my scouting Zergling straight across the map to do a little bit of looking around in his natural. See if I can maybe pick off a drone if I am very lucky. Although that would actually kind of, you know, require him to make a mistake. But most of the time you will be able to figure out what your opponent is doing with this first set of scout Zerglings. And that's basically what I'm focusing on right now. Just making drones, just making Zerglings. Gonna start up my Zergling speed very soon. And then I'll transition into double upgrades. And, you know, we're gonna actually go for melee upgrades, which is kind of funny, but hey. Alright, so here we go. My Zerglings are on the other side of the map. Gonna run inside of the main base, see what is going on right there, and I'm gonna inject in my natural. Now, I need to be a little bit careful, because these Zerglings can actually pick off a drone if I'm not careful. Actually, whoa, I actually didn't kill that thing right there. No, it's actually still alive. Look, go kill it. Go kill it, queen. Come on, get him. There we go. He's just standing there in the corner. Make sure you kill him. Oh my god, he's gonna be able to just run around a little bit longer, isn't he? Alright, there we go. Zergling speed starts up. Actually, did I already? No, I actually haven't started it yet. Come on, Loko, start your Zergling speed, you noob. Loko, what are you doing? Start your Zergling speed. Come on, man. Alright, double. Oh, right. I'm okay, hold on. Hold that thought. I'm gonna actually go for double upgrades into Zergling speed. I forgot about that for a second. That was something I actually wrote down right here in the note in front of me, but I completely forgot about it. In this game, what I actually am going for is a double upgrade into Zergling speed, which may very well be the weirdest thing ever, but hear me out, okay? If you actually start double evolution chamber at 200 gas, you will actually finish the double evolution chamber at 250 gas, which means you can start +1 melee and +1 armor right there at the exact same time. If you actually are on 1 gas, if you would be on 2 gas, you could actually start them at 150 gas, because in the time that a extractor or that the evolution chamber builds, the extractor actually mines 50 gas if you have 3 drones in there. So it's a nice little thing to note. But one other thing is that if you go for the Zergling speed after starting the +1, which I I'm doing right now, it means that all of these upgrades will finish up at pretty much the same time. So these have about 120 seconds remaining. This upgrade takes about 110 seconds. So my Zerglings and +1/+1 upgrades will actually finish at the exact same time right now, which will allow me to do a really ridiculously strong push right now. And this is where I start producing my only Zerglings, okay? I'm gonna start producing non-stop Zergling right now. Got a macro hatch going up as well. I actually do start the Baning Nest just in case, because I don't really feel like giving away, you know, a game that is a clear victory by not making like 2 Banelings. But I end up not really making any of them, if I'm not mistaken, in this game. And I'm just waiting for all of my upgrades to finish up. I'm just being a little bit greedy here, but, you know, I'm saving them in the main base. But he actually gets a full scout right here, and I'm like, oh no, he knows exactly what is going on right now. He sees my Baning Nest, he sees my double upgrades, he sees my slow Zerglings, he sees my macro hatchery. I mean, 1 and 1 is 2, right? So what my opponent decides to do is actually go straight into roaches. As you can see on the production tab already, he's actually going straight into roaches, and he does this quite smartly, because most of the time he knows that he will get countered if he makes massive amounts of Mutalisk, and he knows that if he starts making his own Zerglings right now, he'll likely be too late. So he decides to make roaches, which is the one thing that this build will be kind of weak against. But the thing that I'm thinking about right here is like, okay, if my opponent is gonna go roaches, there's gonna be a few different ways that I can actually try and kill him, okay? The first one to be to get a huge surround on his army. The second one would be to actually counterattack while my opponent moves out and simply never engage him head on. Now I am morphing a bunch of Banelings right there. I believe at the start of the game I said I wouldn't, but they're not really gonna come into play right here. And yeah, I'm actually just gonna send them back home. Not really worth it right there. Actually lost quite a bunch of resources on that. But I do have my third base going up right now, and I'm still producing non-stop Zerglings. Now I'm also gonna start a couple of spine crawlers very soon, okay? I checked, yeah, I'm actually getting the lair right now. But I checked right there, excuse me, at his wall right there, okay? And I'm like, okay, my opponent is going for a wall of double upgrades, Roach Warren at the front. This means that, well, whatever he is gonna do, he's gonna be having an army that can beat mine. Because, well, Mass Zerglings, they are pretty solid as long as you can get a full surround of all the roaches. But if he has a big amount of roaches, I can obviously never surround the roaches that are in the middle. So it gets, you know, it gets a lot worse. So what I decide to do at this point is actually get a couple of drones at my third, and I'm gonna start a massive amount of spine crawlers because I don't really want to engage him. Obviously, if I will get a nice engagement off, I will still go for the surround on the army, but most of the time when they have a lot of roaches, it gets really scary to do exactly that. So what I decide to do instead is just go straight for the counter attack as soon as I see my opponent move out. And this is basically where I force him to make a decision. He cannot just sit back with half his army and move out with the other half, because then he will just kill, or then I will just kill the army that is moving out. If he decides to sit back with its entire army, I will just simply tack up to a hive, and I will, you know, get some Ultralisk out, and there we go. I force him to move across right there. He's gonna go straight for the watchtower, and I decide to do a little bit of running around right there with my Zerglings around his third base. Simply denying the third base of his means that I will be able to just produce my own third base and get a lot more stuff up. And that's exactly the idea right now. I'm just making more and more Zerglings, gonna add a bunch of spines here as well, there we go. And I got a bunch of reinforcing Zerglings at home as well. Now I see him move out on the minimap right here, and I'm gonna move in with my massive amount of Zerglings. Gonna try and pick off a couple of the roaches that he is using for reinforcing, but it looks like my opponent is actually looking to just go straight for the throat right now. This is okay with me, because I know that I am safe against this strategy. Now he did go for a couple of Banelings, they are unupgraded, so they actually don't really, you know, aren't very efficient versus the Zerglings that I'm having right now. And I am just gonna make more and more Zerglings at home. Gonna try and actually just hold his army back for the longest time while reinforcing with more Zerglings. I also decided to run the drones for my third base straight into my natural to once again keep that economy advantage that I have. And meanwhile, I'm just crawling all over his main base. And for the most part, in this entire game, my opponent has not had a single chance to be even remotely ahead in this game, simply because I was forcing him to make a decision to either sit back and lose the economy war, or to move across the map and actually, you know, get his army wrecked by a couple of spine crawlers. Now there's gonna be a little bit of German swearing coming in right here. Kannst du nicht irgendwo anders schlecht sein? I don't know what that means, but I do know another German swear word right there, which is gonna come out in a second. Nein, Schweinhund. That is a German swear word that I do know. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys had a good time right here. If you enjoyed this game, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But let me know, what kind of a strategy would you like me to execute the next time that I play a Zerg vs Zerg live game? Because I would love to read your weird gimmicky suggestions in the comment section below. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.